Hello everyone, myself in Rajeshwari. I am working as contract lecturer in electrical department in GPT Cheriar College. I am dealing with the subject electrical power systems. Today I want to discuss about the substation equipment and types of distribution systems in distribution systems topic. So before going to start the class, last classes we are discussing about the substations, types of substations and classification. What is the distribution network? We will cover in last classes. So today's class, the equipment used in substation and its types of distribution systems we will discuss in this class. So first of all, the equipments used in substation are lighting arresters, circuit breakers, and fuses, capacitor voltage transformers, instrument transformers, wave trap, capacitor transformer voltage transformers, and instrument current transformer and voltage transformers, and bus bars, circuit breakers. So power transformers, isolators, protective relays. These are the some of the equipments used in the substation. So in that, first one is the lightning arresters. So the lightning arresters are the instruments that are used in incoming lines so that to prevent the high voltage entering in the main station. So this high voltage is very dangerous to the instruments used in the substation. Even the instruments are very costly, so to prevent any damage, the lightning arresters are used in substations. So these lightning arresters do not let the lightning to fall on the station. So if some of the lightning occurs, then the arresters pull the lightning and ground it to the earth. So these lightning arresters are used for capture the lightning and it sends to the earth. So in any substation, the main important of protection, which is firstly done by these lightning arresters. So from these lightning arresters, the short circuit occurs or sparks over and flash over occurs on the conductors. So this is the major damage to the substation. So we use these lightning arresters. These lightning arresters are grounded to the earth so that it can pull the lightning to the ground. So these are the lightning arresters used in substations. And coming to the capacitor voltage transformers. So another type of equipment used in substations are capacitor voltage transformers. So capacitor voltage transformers are a transformers used in power systems to step down extra high voltage signals and provide low voltage signals either for measurement or to operate the protective relays. These are the capacitive voltage transformers. In its most basic form of device consists of three parts. So two capacitors across which the voltage signal is split and the one inductive element used to tune the device to the supply frequency and a transformer used to isolate and further step down the voltage for the instrumentation or protective relays. So the three parts are two capacitors across the voltage signal and one inductive relay for tuning the device and the one transformer is used to isolate and also step down the voltage for instrumentation and protective relays. The device has at least four terminals, the high voltage terminal for connection to the high voltage signal and a ground terminal and at least one set of secondary terminals for connection to the instrumentation or protective relay. So CVTs are typically single phase devices used for measuring the voltages in excess of 100 kilovolts where the use of voltage transformers would be uneconomical. So after the 100 kilovolts, the use of voltage transformers would be uneconomical. These are used only for excess of 100 kilowatt volts voltages. These CVTs are used. These are the single phase devices. So this is all about the capacitor voltage transformer. So this is shown in this below figure. This is the capacitor 220 kV capacitor voltage transformer, and this is the wave trap used in substations. So coming to wave trap, the wave traps are used at substations using power line carrier communication, that is PLCC. PLCC is used to transmit communication and control information at a high frequency over the power lines. These reduces need for a separate infra for communication between the substations. But for the transmission of communication and control informations, these wave tracks are used in substations. So coming to instrument transformers, in these instrument transformers, there are two types of transformers are there. One is current transformer and the other one is the potential transformer. In the line in substations operate at high voltages and carry current of 1000 amperes. So highest for using high voltages and also high currents, these instrument transformers are used in the substations. The measuring instruments and protective devices are designed for low voltages, that is 110 volts up to, and current is about 5 amperes only. Therefore, they will not work satisfactorily if mounted directly on the power lines. So, because of power lines carries high amount of voltages and high amount of currents. So that these normal measuring instruments or protective devices are used for low voltage. So it is not suitable for power lines. So this is difficulty is overcome by installing instrument transformers on the power lines. So the function of these instrument transformer is to transfer voltages or currents in the power lines to values which are convenient for the operation of measuring instruments and relays. So main function of these transformers are mainly transfers voltage and current in the power lines where high values are transfer from one substation to the other or to the consumer sites. So these are the instrument transformers. In these transformers, there are two types of instrument transformers are there. So one is current transformer and the other one is potential transformer. Coming to the current transformer, a current transformer is essentially a step-up transformer which step down the current to the known ratios. The primary of these transformers consists of one or more turns of thick wire connected in series with the power lines because it's a current transformer. The secondary consists of a large number of turns of fine wire and provides for measuring instruments and relays the current which is constant fraction of the current in the line. These are the secondary side of these transformer consists of large number of turns with a fine wire and it provides measuring instruments at the secondary side and also relays are connected at the secondary side, a current which is a constant fraction of the current in the line. Suppose a current transformer rated at 100 by 5 amperes is connected in the line to measure the current. If the current in the line is 100, then the current in the secondary will be 5 amperes. Similarly, if the current in the line is 50 amperes, then secondary of the CT will have current of 2.5 amperes. 100 by 2 is 50, 5 by 2 is the 2.5 amperes respectively. So thus the CT under consideration will be step down the voltage step down the line current by a factor of 20 is a factor of 20 value is reduces or step down the primary to secondary voltage or currents. Coming to the potential transformers, these are the potential transformer, and this is the current transformer 132 kV CT. So coming to potential transformer, it is essentially a step down transformer and step down the voltage to the known ratio. But in case of current, it's step up transformer, but it step down the voltage. The primary of the this transformer consists of large number of turns of fine wire connected across the line. In case of current transformer, it is connected in series with the line. But in case of potential transformer, the primary of the transformer consists of large number of turns and it is connected across the power lines. So that secondary winding consists of a few turns and provides measuring instruments and relays a voltage which is known fraction of the line voltage. And suppose a potential transformer rated at 66 by 110 kV, 110 volts, 66 kV by 110 volts is connected to the power lines. If the line voltage is 66 kV and the voltage across the secondary will be stepped down to the 110 volts. So coming to bus bars, the bus bar is a line in which the incoming line come into and get into the instruments for further step down or step up. The first bus is used for putting the incoming line in a single line. There may be double line in the bus so that if any fault occurs in the one of the line, the other can still have the current and supply will not stop. So this is the double line bus bar's advantage. A bus bar in electrical power distribution refers to thick strips of copper or aluminum that conduct electricity within a switchboard, distribution board, substation, or other electrical apparatus. So the size of the bus bar is important in determining the maximum amount of current that can be safely carried. This is the size of the bus bar, and the bus bars are typically either flat strips or hollow tubes, as these shapes allow heat to dissipate the more efficiently due to their high surface area to the cross-sectional area ratio. So it dissipates heat more efficiently because of their high surface area to sectional area ratio. And coming to the circuit breakers are used to break the circuit if any fault occurs in any of the instrument. These circuit breakers breaks for a fault which can be damaged other instrument in the station. So for any unwanted fault over the station, we need to break the line current. This is only done by automatically by the circuit breaker. There are different types of circuit breakers used in any substations. They are SF6 circuit breakers, oil circuit breakers, spring circuit breakers, vacuum circuit breakers. The main working of circuit breaker is to make the circuit and to break the circuit. Whenever a fault occurs in the line, then the circuit breakers break the circuit. If after elimination of fault or fault extinguishing, then the circuit breaker makes the circuit. The working of circuit breaker is mainly the breaking the circuit and to make the circuit after the fault extinguishing. So this is the working of circuit breaker. Then coming to the power transformers, a power transformer is used in a substation to step up or step down the voltage. So based on the substation distribution or transmission substations. So these are used for step up or step down the voltages. The modern practice is to use three-phase transformers in substations, although the three single-phase bank of transformers can also be used in modern practices. In case of 220 kV or more kV lines, the station auto transformers are used, while in case of lower kV line such as less than 132 kV line, double winding transformers are used. For 220 kV, it's a high voltage or more than 220 kV is high voltages. So in this case, auto transformers are used in substations. In case of lower voltages, lower kV, that is 132 or below 132 kV lines, double winding transformers or two winding transformers are used. Coming to the isolator, the use of this isolator is to protect the transformer and the other instrument in the line. The isolator isolates the extra voltage to the ground, and thus any extra voltage cannot enter the line. So thus an isolator is used after the bus also for protection. The isolator is installed before or after or before and after the circuit breaker. So whenever a circuit breaker placed in the line, the isolator must be connected or installed at before and after the circuit breaker for protection of lines. So these isolators are worked at no load condition. Whenever fault occurs at no load conditions, it will senses the signal and gives the signal to the circuit breaker to trip. So these circuit breakers will break the circuit, and after fault extinguishing, and these circuit breakers again make the circuit, and it will protect the bus for protections. Coming to the protective relays, the protective relays are used to detect the defective lines or apparatus and to initiate the operation of circuit interrupting devices to isolate the defective equipment. So whenever the defective equipment is placed or any fault occurs, any apparatus or line is defective, so this initiates the operation of circuit interrupting devices and to isolate the defective equipment from the line. These protective relays are used in this work. So the relays are also used to detect abnormal or undesirable operating conditions other than those caused by the defective equipment and either operate an alarm or initiate operation of the circuit interrupting devices. So these are different types of relays are there. So one of the relay is overcurrent relay and distance relays, differential relay and directional overcurrent relays. These are the some of the different types of relays used in the lines and substations. Then coming to the DC power supply or DC battery and also chargers. So all the smallest substations includes auxiliary power supplies. So AC power is required for substation building, small power, lighting, heating and ventilation, and some communication equipments, switchgear, operating mechanisms, anti-condensation heaters, and also motors. So the AC power required for substation is for small powers lighting and heating, ventilation, and some communication equipment, switchgears, operating mechanisms, and anti-condensation heaters and also motors. So where DC power is used to feed the essential services such as a circuit breaker to trip the coils and associated relays, supervisory control, and data acquisition, that is SCADA, and communication equipments. These DC power is required. In this case, the DC power is used for these operations and AC power is used for these applications in the power substations. This is all about the substation equipments, and it's also purpose of each equipment used in substations. Coming to the distribution systems, there are the classification of distribution systems. In this, there are two types of distributions are there. First one is primary distribution, and second one is the secondary distribution. The figure shows the power system line diagram from the generating station to the consumers. So at the generating station, the generated power will be produced or generated the electrical energy of 3.3 kV or 6.6 kV or 11 kV, 33 kV, like that. The old voltages are developed, are generated at the generating stations. These are the generating stations. Here, suppose 11 kV is generated in this generating station. So 11 kV is supplied to the primary transmission. So this is the primary transmission transformer. So this is step up transformer, and from generating to the primary transmission, from here this is 11 kV line. So this 11 kV is applied at this transformer. This is the step up transformer. These step up transformer will step up the 11 kV voltage to the 132 or 220 kV or 400 kV up to like that, etc. are stepped up voltages. So here 11 kV is stepped up to 132 kV. So this is the primary transmission. And so these are the step up transformers. So from this the 132 kV is supplied to the next station, that is secondary transmission system. So here this line has 132 kV voltage from here. So this transformer collects the 132 kV voltage and it will step down the voltage up to 33 kV or 66 kV. But here we are taking that 132 kV is stepped down to 33 kV. So this is the receiving station. This is secondary transmission. From this transformer, again it will supply the 33 kV line in this. So from this, it will goes to the primary distribution transformers. So again in this 132 by 33 kV transformer will step down the 132 voltage to 33 kV and it supplies to the next substation, that is primary distribution. So again here 33 kV line, this is this 33 kV is supplied to this transformer. This is again step down transformer. This will step down the voltage from 33 kV to 11 kV at this substation. This is the primary distribution, and also this is taking some of the industrial consumers also uses these voltages. Here also some of the large industries will take that voltage for their industrial purpose. So in this primary distribution, again it will step down to 33 to 11 kV. This is the 11 kV line. This is applied to the distribution transformer, that is secondary distribution. So in this again we one step down transformer is connected here. from this line has 11 kV. This is 11 kV is applied this transformer. The step down transformer will step down the voltage from 11 kV to 415 kV volts, kV to 4 415 volts. So this step down voltage will supplies to the consumers centers. So this is 450 line. This is some of the consumers and industrials are using these 415 volts. So in case of a single phase supply, that is a house purpose, small industries taken for 15 volts, but in consumers, it will take the single phase supply that has 220 volts or 230 volts, whatever it is they are using in home appliances. So that is a consumer premises. So this is all about the power system line diagram from generating station to the consumer center. So from generating to the primary transmission, one step up transformer is required, and from primary transmission to secondary transmission, it will step down transformer is required. After secondary transmission, primary distribution will start here. Their primary distribution requires one step down transformer, and also it will from primary to secondary distribution, one of secondary step down transformer is required to the finally it will reach us to the consumer premises. This is the power system line diagram. Coming to the primary distribution system, as we already seen that in above figure. So this is primary distribution and secondary. So here this is the primary distribution system. These the distribution system transmit at a medium voltage is called the primary distribution system. In the primary distribution, voltages are 3.3 kV, 6.6 kV, 11 kV, three-phase, three-wire systems. That means the generated voltages are available at primary distribution systems. And this is the primary distribution. This 33 kV is step down to 3.3 or 6.6 or 11 kV. Like that, it will step down the 33 kV volts. And from generating station also, we expect the voltages like 3.3 kV, 6.6 kV or 11 kV. Like that, the generating stations also generates the voltages. So at primary distribution systems, we are collecting it and the voltages like generating stations. Coming to the secondary distribution system, the distribution system transmit at a low voltage is called the secondary distribution system. So this is the distribution transformer. This is secondary distribution. Again, 11 kV is step down to the 415 volts, and at the low voltages, these are called secondary distribution system. The second distribution voltages may be 440 or 230 volts per three-phase four-wire systems. In primary, this is a three-wire system, three-phase three-wire system, but in secondary distribution, it is three-phase four-wire system. This is given to the consumers. So for their requirement for 440 and for home purpose, it is a single phase supply is needed, so that the 230 volts is used for houses. The secondary distribution system consists of feeders, distributors, and also service mains. These from secondary distribution to the consumer premises, these three are plays an important role in transmitting the power from secondary distribution to the consumer premises or load centers. So from secondary distributions, these feeders are connected and distributors and also from service lanes. So now we will see that what is a feeder and distributor and serviceman. So purpose of feeder, first of all, we know that what is the purpose of feeders used in secondary distribution systems. So the conductors which connects the substations to the area served by the these stations. So conductors are connected substations to the uh, consumer premises. That is, these supply is sent to those stations. So these conductors are like feeders. So no tappings are taken from the feeders to feed the consumers. Directly it will connect it to the consumer premises. The feeders is a single line for consumer premises to feed the supply, and feeders are mainly designed on the basis of its current carrying capacity. What is how much current carrying capacity is therefore design is based on only design for current carrying capacity of every feeder. So mainly designed on the basis of current carrying capacity of the line or feeder. So this is the purpose of feeders, and coming to the purpose of distributor. So purpose of distributor is the conductors from which numerous tappings are taken for supplying the power to the consumers. In case of feeders, there are no tappings are required for the conductors to uh, consumer premises. But in case of distributor, the conductors from which uh, numerous tappings are taken from supplying the power to the consumers. Many tappings are required for supplying the and supply to the consumer centers. These are distributors. The current flowing through the distributor lines are not constant, and in case of feeders, these are based on current carrying capacity, mainly designed. But in case of distributor, the current flowing through the distributor lines are not constant. The distributor lines are mainly designed on the basis of voltage drop. So on the basis of how much voltage drop is present in the line is distributor lines will mainly depends on the uh, basis of voltage drop. These are designed, but in case of feeders, these are used in on the basis of current carrying capacity. And coming to the service mains, the conductor which connect the consumer terminal to the distributor terminal is nothing but the service mains. This is the service main. And coming to the classification of distribution systems, so some of the classification is there mainly depends on distribution systems, the type of distributions. So the distribution systems are mainly classified into the following types on the basis of what type of current construction and other factors. First, on the basis of type of current is AC distribution and also DC distribution, alternating current distribution and direct current distribution. On the basis of construction, it is a overhead distribution system and underground distribution system. So underground distribution system will provide cables for distributing the supply in underground system. In overhead distribution system, the lines are required for transmission lines are required for overhead transmission distribution systems. The lines are required. And coming to the basis of service, it is general lighting and power, and also industrial power, railway, and street light, etc. And coming to the basis of number of wires, so 2-wire distribution system, 3-wire distribution system, and 4-wire distribution system. So in this three-phase three-wire system is present, and three-phase four-wire system also presented. For primary distribution, so these are three-phase and three-wire distribution systems are used. For consumers, distribution of power to the consumers, that is secondary distribution. In that four-wire, three-phase four-wire distribution systems are used. So on the basis of scheme of connection, so that radial distribution system, ring or loop distribution system, parallel distribution system, and interconnected distribution system. Depending on the type of scheme of power distribution, again, these are mainly the following types of distributions are there. So in the distribution, the first one is radial distribution system and the ring or loop distribution system, parallel distribution system, and interconnected distribution systems are there. So by using these distribution systems, from the substation to the power distribution is reached to the consumers by using these types of distribution systems. That is radial or ring main systems, or parallel distribution systems, or interconnected distribution systems. So these are given as radial distribution system. So if a distributor is connected to the supply system from one end only, it is called a radial distribution system. So that means a supply system, a distributor is connected at only one end. So that is a radial distribution system. If a feeder is connected to the supply system from one end only, the feeder is called radial feeder. So if the feeder connected to the supply system from only one end, that feeder is called radial feeder. If the distributor is connected to the supply system from only one end, means it is called a radial distributor, and it is used to serve the light and medium load areas. So the primary feeders radiate from the distribution substations and branch into sub feeders and feed the distributors at only one end. So this is shown in this figure. This is the radial distribution system. So in that radial distribution system, the feeders are connected only one end is radial feeder, and distributors connected at only one end is called radial distributor. So this is the transformer 33 by 11 kV substation. So from this, there are two feeders, one incoming and one. These are two incoming feeders. From this, one feeder is taken here, and AB is the distributor, AC is the feeders. So AC is a distributor. Here 11 kV to 400 kV substation is required to this is the distribution substation. This is primary. From the primary to this is secondary. It's also secondary distribution transformers for feeders and for one for distributors. From distributors to the load centers, only one at one end is connected. This is the radial system. So loads are connected to the distributors directly. And it is the feeder connection. This is also the having a distribution transformer. So 11 kV by 400 volts. So this transformer, these are also at only one end. The loads are connected. This is a radial feeder. This is the radial distribution system overview. Coming to the advantages of radial systems, simple in construction and switching equipment is less, so low investment cost, simple protective relaying is required, and there is no duplication of equipment. the system investment is lowest of all the circuit arrangements. Operation and expansion are simple and reliability is high if the quality components are used in this radial system. Because this is the switching equipment is also requirement is less, and also the simple construction, that is a radial feeder and distributor connection, and lowest investment, and also simple protective relaying is required in this radial systems. So no duplication equipment, and it invests lowest of all circuit arrangements. Operation and expansion are everything will simple in this radial systems, and reliability is high if quality components are used in this radial systems. Coming to the disadvantages of radial systems. So consumers are depends on the single feeder. Any fault occurs, it's cut off the supply to the all consumers. This is the main disadvantages of radial systems. So because only single feeder is connected from substations to the load centers. So all the consumers depends on only on single feeder. If fault occurs on feeder, then the supply will cut off to the all consumers connected to that single feeder. So distributor nearest to the substation is highly loaded, because if feeder is taking any fault, the supply will cut off, and the distributor nearest to the substation will highly loaded with the all consumers. The overloading of distributor end nearest to the feeding point, and consumers are dependent on the single feeder and a single distributor, and a fault on the either of them causes interruption of supply to the all consumers away from the fault. So this is the major disadvantages of radial systems. And one more disadvantage is severe voltage fluctuations to the end consumers, and not suitable for long distances, and it serves small town and rural areas. The difficulties of radial system can be overcome by using ring main systems. So these are also some of the disadvantages of radial systems. Voltage fluctuations to the end consumers are severe, and over long distances, this radial distribution system is not suitable. And for rural and small town areas, it serves uh, supply only for small towns and rural areas. So the difficulties of radial system can be overcome by using ring main systems. So another type of distribution system is needed to eliminate the disadvantages of this system. So this is the radial distribution system. These are the primary distributions. So these are generators connections, and one is feeder, and the other one is the distributions. So that disadvantage can be overcome by introducing parallel feeders. So the two parallel feeders are connected to this to overcome the problem with one feeder. So however, it uses more copper and not always most economic, because copper requirement is high, so cost is also high. So the for economic reason, it is not suitable. So this from any point under this line is get fault, so the other parallel line will feed the supply. This is the advantages of parallel distribution systems. So if a fault occurs on T2, then only the protection on one leg is called into operation, and other consumers are not affected, because here any fault occurs, so one line is fault occurrence of fault, so next line will provide the supply to continuous. If T2 fails, then the supply to the particular consumers is also lost completely. So this is the disadvantage. So advantage is here any fault occurs, the other line will send supply to the consumers. But in it is fails, then total overall consumers will lost the supply completely. So this is also some drawback of parallel distribution system. So this is all about the uh, radial distribution systems. So in the next class, we will discuss about the ring main systems and other classification of systems. Thank you.